doing it. So guys, welcome back to the channel for another video, and officially the last video of 2025. It's been a crazy year, ladies and gentlemen, especially for metal music as a whole, man. We had a lot of crazy releases, a lot of albums, a lot of reactions, and a lot of heavy bangers that came out this past year, man. It has definitely been probably one of the most exciting ones for me, for me personally, from going back and seeing all these new albums coming out, especially from some of my favorite bands as well, you know. So, and also hope everyone's having a great and amazing new year. By the time this comes out, for some of you, it's already going to be the next year for some of you guys out there. But when you're probably seeing this, it's probably already going to be the new year. So just anyone's hoping I have an amazing happy new year, and we're going to kick off the next year with a banger. We got a lot of stuff planned. We have a lot of new reactions, a lot of new album announcements, a lot of new heavy stuff coming out in the near future as well for you guys, and hopefully, fingers crossed, some bands that have been keeping it quiet, you know, we get some more announcements, we get some more albums coming our way in the near future. So next year is already looking pretty good for us metalheads in the near future, so fingers crossed we get some more of that. But for this video, as reactions are starting to wind down, we're not really getting any new music lately, so I decided, you know, why not I go back, check out all the reactions I've done, and maybe make like a top 10 style video for you guys of my favorite songs that came out over the past year or so, to let you guys know what my favorite ones were and which ones I'm banging out to on the day-to-day basis. Let me know what you guys' favorites from the past year were, you know, if there's any other bands that I might not have, you know, reacted to, if there's ones that I maybe not have heard of actually and that came out this year. Be sure to let me know down in the comments. I might have to check those ones out in a near future video. So yeah, but we are starting off with my top 10 favorite metal singles over the past year. I'm sticking to just singles, you know, because I feel like, you know, albums would be a little bit too much, because I haven't really choken out all the albums yet. But so I feel for singles it's a little bit easier for me, because it's easier for me to play and listen to, and those are my favorite ones off of the past year. So this is my top 10 favorite metal singles of the year 2025, ladies and gentlemen. Starting off with number 10, we are going out with Orbit Culture's Hydra. Listen to these guys, man, they were just insane. I don't believe this was the first one I reacted to. I think this one was like, you know, a bit you know, 2 or 3 videos in when I first listened to these guys. But let me just say, the first time I loaded these guys up, I was hooked. I was in. They had the energy I wanted, they had the aggression I wanted, from their tones to their screams to their growls to their just aggressive play style, man. It was just insane for me, because I don't know why I haven't heard of these guys before. I don't know why it haven't took me this long to go into these guys, because man, they are good. And I believe they're a European band. I think they're like over on the European side of things, but they hit hard, man. They definitely hit hard. You know, with European bands, they tend to be a little bit more subtle. They don't tend to be, you know, as heavy focused as, you know, American heavy metal bands, I would say, especially tone wise and like, you know, guitar play style. But these guys hit hard, man. I thought they were an American band just by hearing to them for the first time, but oh my god, they're probably one of the heaviest bands I've ever heard, especially on the European side of things, man, because they definitely know what they're doing. They definitely know how to write the chugs. The breakdowns, man, are insane. The atmospheric, you know, vibe that these guys bring with their tracks as well. It just feels like you're watching a play almost when you're listening to one of their songs, man. It's just like, it just takes you on a journey. It just takes you on this like heavy metal experience that you wouldn't have normally listened to from all these other bands. Because when that first song starts, they just hit you right in your face with the double bass, the blast beats, the heavy chugs, with a little bit of old school melodic metalcore riffs hidden in there as well. But when they do those dropouts, when they build up to those breakdowns, oh, they just hit hard. And I love hearing these guys no matter what, especially this one, man, because I believe this one had like that played out kind of breakdown, that ambience feel to it at the end of the track there. They just let it play out for like a minute or long or so, but it sounded so good, man. And I would just be more than excited to see these guys hopefully live one day, because that would definitely be an insane show, especially when they just do those breakdowns, man. Now those people are just gonna be flying in the pits, you already know what's gonna happen. So I just love to see these guys, and love to see more of these guys as well in the near future. And they definitely have that different singing vocal style as well. You know, they could do the growls, they could do the deep tones, but when he starts doing like those clean singings, it's like a little bit of like an 80s nostalgic vibe. Definitely have like a Metallica influence when he does those like clean kind of like style screams that he does on the high end when he does the chorus kind of thing. So that's a definitely unique aspect when it comes to them. I haven't really heard that, you know, before, especially in the heavy metal bands such as this, especially when the music just has a godly amount of heaviness into it. You wouldn't expect him to do those kind of like, you know, talking kind of screaming kind of like James Hetfield-esque kind of, you know, singing vocals. But man, I feel like it works. Man. But I love these guys no matter what, and hopefully we get to see more of these guys in the near future. These guys are talented across the board no matter what, man. We got the lead singer doing the riffs as well, with them playing the chugs, going on with the vibe of the beats as well, man. I've just no idea how he could I don't know how he has the talent to do that while singing and screaming, as well as doing like fast-paced, you know, riffing metal chugs and stuff like that, man. I just have all props to guitarists and singers that can do that kind of stuff, because it'll just be way too much for me to comprehend, especially when I'm trying to, you know, concentrate on the vocals and singing the right words as well as not screwing up on the notes, man. It's definitely insane. Definitely props to these guys, because they definitely deserve all the recognition, man, because I don't think these guys are like as much as a popular end as they should be, because I know a lot of these bands that I listen to that are really good. They're really good, man. They bring something different to the table each time, but they're not as popular as they should be, which is also a sad thing to say, because I love these guys as amongst as other people on this list that I'm going to go through as well that aren't typically as popular as they feel like they should be, man. Don't get me started on the drum man as well, because I feel like these songs just go on non-stop double bass action. It's because my man's calves are just from start to finish 6-minute long, 8-minute long pieces, just non-stop blast beatings, non-stop double bass, man. Just some of these tracks are just non-stop double bass, which just amplifies the energy even more, man. Props to the drum man, as amongst all the other band members in this band. They're just all so talented and just so crazy to see. Probably one of the best drum mans I've ever seen in a while. When that was, I think I mentioned that in one of my videos as well. Just the amount of speed, the amount of precision, and just non-stop energy this guy has on his calves. It's just ridiculous, man. I'll get tired after 30 seconds of probably doing that non-stop blast beats, but you know, I'm not a drummer. So moving on to number 9, we got Black Veil Brides, Hallelujah. I would say I would like their Bleeders one a little bit more, but that came out, I believe, in 2024 at the end of the year kind of thing, so I couldn't really fit it on this list. But this one came out earlier this year as well, and let me just say it stacks up to that one. It definitely has that energy, it definitely has that deeper tone vibe, but I like Bleeders just a little bit more, just the way the song's structured. But this one definitely slaps no matter what. It still has that high energy, still has that aggression, that, you know, modern metalcore deep tone that they're going for, which, fingers crossed, I hope they keep that in the new album, because these past 2 singles, I believe, they're only ones that they did release. So hopefully they keep going this new direction. Hopefully they keep this, you know, hardcore focus on the next album. So fingers crossed we might get it early. So fingers crossed we might get it in 2026, you know, amongst all the bands. But hopefully we get some more of Andy and his, you know, deep style vocals, his screams. He's doing a lot more of the screams on this time around. He's not really known for his, like, screams or his deep, you know, gutturals that he can normally, or his deep growl screams that he does. He doesn't really do it too much. But I feel like when he does do it, you know, I wanted to see it a little bit more. He shines when he does that. He wants to, you know, bring out that aggression, and he bring more of that, you know, deep tone that Black Veil Brides can do on some of their past tracks. So especially with these ones, man, because this one, you know, definitely has the fast-paced riffs, definitely has the double bass, definitely has the catchy choruses in there like they always do. But this one definitely hit on that right direction, because the overall vibe, the overall theme, the overall video side of things was very interesting to watch and cool to watch as well. But yeah, if they keep this energy, if they keep this style of play style up, I'm in, man. To be honest, I kind of fell off Black Veil Brides a long time ago. I bet when they're around the Wretched and Divine album. I know that's been like over a decade ago as well. I know they came out with a lot of stuff since, but you know, that was like my favorite one from them at the time when I did listening to these guys. I know they came out with a bunch of stuff. But if you guys want more Black Veil Brides, you know, I can maybe check out some of our past albums. Maybe check out some of the past albums of the past decade or so, because I know they've been out a lot of new music lately. So, but if they keep going this right direction, if they keep going to this more modern, you know, dropout tones, you know, I'm gonna have to get back into these guys again, because I like Andy. He just has that, you know, he just has that iconic voice to him. No one can replicate his voice, so he just definitely has that unique sound in his own way, which makes this band unique as well. But when they start playing those chugs, when they start doing those crazy solos, man, you know, it just hooks me in even more. So hopefully we get some more songs sounding like this in the near future. But like I said, I like Bleeders a little bit more. I just couldn't fit it on this list because, you know, it did come out in 2024. But right, moving on to number 8, we have Electric Cowboys cover of Sum 41's Still Waiting.
So am I still waiting for this world to stop hating? Can't find a good reason, can't find hope to believe in.
This one slaps. I wasn't expecting this one to be that hard hitting. Wasn't expecting this one to, you know, be that surprising for me as well. Because don't get me wrong, I like Sum 41. I used to like listening to, you know, the pop punky stuff back in the day. Didn't really go too much into them, but I do know some of the most popular songs, you know, the top, you know, Billboard charters, you know, you already know how it is. But when they chose this song to do a cover of, I was a bit surprised. I was just like, is this going to go as well as I thought it was? And it turned out to probably be the best pop punk cover I've ever heard, especially from these guys, because, you know, Still Waiting, iconic Sum 41 single from back in the day, probably one of the most popular ones to listen to. And it's just always cool to see a band, you know, create a song. It's always cool to see a band, you know, do a pop punk cover. I've always loved those punk albums from back in the day as well. Probably one of my favorite ones to go back and listen to. But it's always cool to see a new band, you know, still do that, especially in this era, in this age. It's always cool to see bands go back to the early 2000s days where they did do that kind of thing. So, but I was a little bit skeptical on this sort of choice here, but I don't really know the full reason behind it. But I do know, I think that the drummer is like that. It used to be in Sum 41, and he's now the drummer of Electric Cowboy. So I think that had a little, you know, nudge in to do this sort of cover for them. So I don't know if those just fans of the band, but either way, this song definitely slaps. Amongst all their crazy songs, man, I could only choose one, but I definitely had to choose this one because I do still listen to this one when it comes on. So, and it definitely is that catchy vibe. It has that catchy, you know, chorus to it. It has the catchy, you know, melodic, you know, metalcore aspect in there as well, with it. It's just a fast-paced, you know, verse riffs that they do in here. Just even the guitar riffs are so catchy, man. You know, just overall, the guitar writing, their play style, is just so catchy. It's so clean. It's so crisp. You know, it just reminds me of the pop punk days when it's not even a cover of their songs. You know, just the way they play, it just reminds me of some of the old school melodic metalcore nostalgia, and that's why I like these guys a lot as well. But when it comes to this cover specifically, I think it's very well written. I think it's very well produced. It's very well put together. You know, they changed some things here and there, you know, but the overall formula is still there. They still have, like, you know, the main riff just down tuned, you know, chugged it up a little bit. You know, chorus I think is still the same, but they had they changed it a little bit with the, you know, the electronic beats in there with the second verse. And then they changed it up with when they're leading into the breakdown. I love that they added a breakdown in there. They didn't just skip over it. You know, they turned like the sort of bridge portion into a hard hitting metal breakdown, which I loved in that. So the breakdowns hit hard, man. I love the breakdowns as well. And then when Electric Cowboy breakdown hits, you know it's gonna hit hard, man. Just very nostalgic feeling as well with classic metalcore style breakdowns as far as that goes. But like I said, these guys are amazing. I love their energy. I love their play style. I love the sort of crazy, you know, not take themselves too seriously attitude, especially with their videos, man. The videos are like, what, you don't even know what the hell's going on in their videos. So it's just fun to see a band, you know, just having fun, creating music, and just doing, you know, just living life and just creating music, you know, just for the fun of it, not taking themselves too seriously. And just, that's what I love about these guys. So hopefully we get some more stuff in the near future. I know they dropped out a couple singles this past year, but they might be working on a new album. They might be putting those singles into a new album that they're going to come out with next year. So fingers crossed we get some more of that. So yeah. And moving on to number 7, we have Breakdown of Sanity's newest release single, The Hunt. I wanted to put this one a little bit higher on the list, but we just had so many good ones, you know, to go through, so I just wanted to keep it on the list. But you know, it's a little bit lower than what I hoped it would be, but this one still slaps. Don't get me wrong, if you don't know who Breakdown of Sanity is, they are probably the world's best metalcore band out there to date, man. If you guys don't know them, just go check them out. Check out their past stuff, because I don't know the full story around them, but they were very popular, you know, 2010 era, you know, 2015 era-esque type stuff. You know, they were just probably one of the best metalcore bands to listen to when you just wanted to listen to something, you know, heavy, just intense, you know, just turn your brain off, just amp you up, and just, like, you know, smack some you just want to put these guys on, because they definitely bring the energy, they definitely bring that energy, the intensity, and just the overall hardcoreness when it comes to a heavy metal band. Because I can go on and on about these guys. They're definitely probably one of my top 5 bands of all time. They've gone through a lot of, you know, lineup changes. They've gone through a lot of, you know, stuff behind the scenes. I don't really know too much the full story. I know they went quiet over the past, since their last album. They haven't really made one since then, so I don't know the whole story is between these guys, but they've been putting out a lot of singles since then, though. They've been putting out like maybe 2 or so singles each year after that, so they've been working on some stuff. They're still making, you know, music from behind the scenes, and let me just say, each song is just fully compact with the amount of intensity you can put into a track, man. Because each song, just from start to finish, just non-stop, in your face, intensity action, man. Just go listen to one of their songs. I bet just listen to this one, because you'll definitely know what I'm talking about from the first 5 seconds of one of these guys' tracks. Because I don't know if they train 24/7. I don't know if they have like bionic fingers, because the amount of fast-paced technicality these guys have, from the riffs, from the choppiness, breakdowns, just non-stop, 0 to 100, just 0 to 100 speed, man. It just, each song just keeps going until the end, man. It's like non-stop. There's like no breaks, tempo changes switching throughout the track, man. Just from each song just sounds like one non-stop breakdown, if that makes sense. Just look at the name of the band, man. Breakdown of Sanity. Your sanity is gonna break down listening to just one of these tracks, man. Just because it's just so intensity, it's so chaotic, but in a good way, though. Because I know a lot of these bands, you know, can tend to make a little bit song just to sound heavy for the fun of it, but these guys just do it in a whole different way, man. Because each song is structured. Each song has like their own piece of, you know, where like the section goes. They, you know, they still got the riffs, they still have the verses, they still have, you know, breakdowns, but each song has like 2 or 3 breakdowns in it, which is insane. Listening to this band for the first time is what made me want to, you know, play like them, and made me want to play like that style of music, you know, that kind of hardcoreness, which a lot of these bands are trying to move away from. Like, they're kind of like doing this, you know, poppy kind of, you know, mix sound now, but I like that these guys are sticking to the roots, sticking to what makes them, you know, stand out, what makes them unique. You know, you could argue that they still, you know, sound the same from back in the day, but I feel like it's a good thing. I feel like it's still a good thing. You know, you have that band, you have your identity, you don't want to change too much. You can change a little bit, but I feel like if a band changes too much, you're gonna lose some old school fans that a lot of these bands are kind of doing nowadays. But I feel like these guys do it in a way enough to each song just sounds different. Each song sounds unique in its own way, even if it does sound, you know, same from, you know, decades before, but somehow they make each song sound different, and I don't get how they haven't run out of breakdown styles at this point, or like breakdown riff patterns, because you know, from the amount of tracks and from the amount of breakdowns these guys have written, it's just easily over 100, because it's just insane, man. I feel like I'm rambling too much about these guys, but like I said, if you don't know who they are, go check them out. Breakdown of Sanity. Let them know I sent you, because definitely easily one of my top 5 bands. And the funny thing is, they aren't even an American band, man. You think they were listening to them, they would be an American band, but no, they're another European side of things, man. European metal is evolving. They're becoming more heavy. I feel like they're becoming more of American metal band than actual American metal bands, if that makes sense. Because a lot of these European bands, like, they're getting harder, they're getting heavier, they're getting, you know, still clinging to those, you know, fast-paced riffs that I love from old school metalcore bands, which I love. Because when I first started playing guitar, you know, I got into, you know, like As I Lay Dying-esque kind of, you know, play style, like bands. We'll get to more of them in a little bit later. But like I said, but when I found these guys, they play the same way. They play the same way, but in like a harder, more intensified way, which I loved, man. And it just brought me into these guys and just made me want to play this kind of music. So, which I love it, man. I feel like I already said too much about these guys, so we're gonna keep it going here. Moving on to number 6, we got Fit for a King's Witness the End. Featuring Chris Motionless from Motionless in White, which is probably one of the heaviest ones I've ever heard from Fit for a King. I know they've had heavy hitting albums in the past. I know their last album was probably one of the heaviest ones they've ever made. But like I said, man, these guys are insane when they come, when they definitely do the deep routes, they definitely do the deeper tones when they want to. And when they do, they just probably become one of the heaviest hitting metalcore bands, like borderline deathcore almost in a way, you know, because they can get that low, they can get that, you know, that deep style play style. They drop tune it very low when it comes to like some of their breakdowns on their tracks, man. But just this one here specifically, I love a lot more, just because it has Chris from Motionless in White in it. I'm definitely a fan of Motionless in White. They're easily probably one of my top 5 bands as well. And then when I just saw Chris on here, he doesn't really do features that much. I mean, he's done a couple, but hasn't done any in a long time. So he's like very reserved. He just usually focuses on his own music and own songwriting stuff. So, but when I saw him on here, it was a very surprising thing. And let me just say, his vocal style definitely works on this track with his high witchy screams that he can do, especially when they pair it together on harmonizing those high screams. You know, it just sounds so good, man. This one definitely teeters on the deathcore scale a little bit, just because of how heavy, how intense it is. Because right from the start, man, you're getting blast beats, you're getting screams, you're getting witches, you're getting spelled, you're gonna get possessed right from the beginning, especially at the end, man. But as soon as Chris enters the vocal feature, it just amplifies it up to 11, man. It's just definitely insane, and probably one of the best solos I've heard in a long time. This song not only has 2 breakdowns, it has a solo in it as well. Probably one of my favorite ones I've heard in a long time, especially from these guys, like a metalcore band, because metalcore bands don't really do solos that much nowadays. They just really focus on, you know, the beats and stuff like that. But when I heard this solo, man, it just blew me away. It has that, you know, darkness kind of twist to it. It has that, you know, deathcore style-esque, you know, note play style that a lot of these deathcore bands, very reminiscent of Lorna Shore in a way, with their solos, with their sweeps, with their just overall, you know, just fast-paced riffs, the taps, man. It's just, oh my, it's just so crispy, it's so clean. I love it, man. I definitely love it. Probably easily one of my favorite solos of the year thus far. But not only that, like I said, they have 2 breakdowns, and the ending one is very reminiscent of Motionless in White. It's very choppy, very, you know, chuggy, very, you know, rhythm heavy, which I feel like, you know, maybe Chris helped write that a little bit. Maybe he helped, you know, write the play style in there, because it definitely shows that it is a Motionless style kind of breakdown, you know, because their breakdowns are typically simple. It's not really, you know, overly played too much when they do breakdowns, but they're very simple, but they definitely hit hard nonetheless as well. So if you guys haven't heard this track, be sure to go check it out as well, and you definitely will not be disappointed. If you're looking for that, you know, hardcore hit and metalcore aspect with a little bit of doomy vibes in there, this one would definitely make you happy. You know, I liked Fit for a King from the very first moment I heard them. I believe I heard them right when they first started out, when a couple of years ago back, and then just since then, I've been a fan. Some albums, you know, are better than others, but they still have that hardcore root to them. They still have those doomy roots that make them probably one of the heaviest metalcore bands out there. And if you haven't seen these guys live, I definitely would go recommend seeing them, because just going there to see the bass man alone, just the amount of acrobatics that guy can do on stage, flinging his bass around, you know, just 720ing, spinning around the stage, man. It's definitely insane, as well as still playing the songs, man. That's a whole nother story on itself, man. I don't know where they got this guy. They probably got him from Circus Olay years ago, and he just wanted to become in a metal band now. I have no idea, but we got one guy soloing it up over here. We got the bass man doing backflips on stage. It's just an amazing thing to see, especially with these guys. But yeah, but if you haven't checked this one out, be sure to go check it out, let me just say. But moving on to number 5, we have probably one of the out of this world, just fastest rising out of nowhere bands ever. And we're talking about the band President. guys are ridiculous. Where did they come from? No one knows where they come from. No one knows who they are. Are they just from another planet? Are they from another dimension, another realm of existence? Because who are these guys and why do they sound so good? I mean, they're just so different from out there. I mean, they have that poppy influences, don't get me wrong. They have that, modern metalcore playstyle, but they just do it in a way that sounds good. You could argue that they're copying, the Sleep Token, image a little bit with that, especially with that masks and they're just hiding their identity and similar kind of play style. But I feel like these guys do it better. I feel like they're just on the more record of what I like to hear from if a band does this sort of sound. They do it in a different way from Sleep Token. I feel like Sleep Token is just overall on the fully pushing the boundaries of the poppy side of things. They're kind of moving away from metal a little bit, but I feel like these guys do it in a way that they still have the poppy elements, but they still have the metal. Just the overall back end is still the metal scene. It's still, what's holding the band together. But don't get me wrong, the man has an amazing voice. His voice is insane. I believe they're an English band because he definitely has like an English accent to him. So I don't know if that's where he's from. I don't know if the other band members are from there, but I guess we would never know because I don't think he's ever gonna, reveal who he truly is. I could care less on the whole identity thing, but I never really cared about bands wearing masks or like doing this image thing. I mean, it's cool, don't get me wrong. If you have an image, you have an idea, play into that, all power to you. But I feel like these guys do it in a way that's like a little bit unsettling. It's a little bit more creepy. It's a little bit more like Purge-esque. It's a little bit kind of like Illuminati, kind of like mysterious vibe to them. It's very interesting to see like this high power, like political figure coming out of nowhere, kind of like, scary, like telling messages, but also doing some damn good heavy metal music, man. I can get behind that. Like I said, these guys just started out this year and they're already blowing up, they're already touring. Next year they're doing stadium tours. Like, it's insane. I don't get how they came up on rise in popularity. People, you could say, it's an industry plant, it's just someone else from a different band that's already popular and he's just doing the side project kind of thing. But I don't know, man. I haven't really heard this guy before. I haven't heard his voice before. I haven't heard, the sort of play style before. So I don't know who it is. Maybe he's going to reveal himself, decades from now, and we're going to go, wow, it was this guy this entire time and we never knew about it. I don't know. It's very interesting to, see, and it's fun to, speculate who it could be. But yeah, man, but the song I chose, I don't think I said the song name yet, but it's in the Name of the Father, which is their very first single that they put out. And when I heard this one, man, I was hooked. I could definitely say that it wasn't typically the style of metal that I'm normally used to, but after listening to it, a couple times, I can definitely say I'm in. And I'm definitely a fan, and this one's probably one of my favorite ones from the singles that they released. A lot of the ones that they released previous after this one where they hit hard still, don't get me wrong, but I felt like they leaned more into the poppy kind of thing. They leaned more into like the atmospheric kind of stuff, which I could kind of forget about. But but the Name of the Father one, it definitely has that poppy verse influence with it. I don't really listen to pop music at all, unfortunately, but I feel like when he does the pop singing style vocals, when they do the pop singing style beats, I feel like it works very well with the metal tone, with the undertone, because they just play it so deep. The deepness of their tones is so deep. I don't know what tunings these guys use. I don't know if they have 7s or 8s, man, but the tone that they use is so deep. So clean, it's so crisp, matching with like the higher poppy style vocals this guy can do. But he can also do the high screams. He can also do the vocal screams in some of these tracks, especially this one here. He doesn't really do it too much. He does more of the catchy chorus singing kind of thing, but the chorus is definitely catchy, don't get me wrong. It's very easy to learn the words, very easy to sing along to, which is I love singing along to this song as well. So it's definitely why it's one of my favorite ones. But when that breakdown hits at the end, man, it's very nostalgic of like, gent style play styles. It's very groovy, it's very catchy, but also heavy at the same time. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's just all ups from here. I'm glad that people love this band. I'm glad that people are getting into this band, and hopefully we get some more stuff in the near future from these guys. I know that they released, an EP, or there's like 1 or 2 tracks I haven't heard yet from these guys, so who knows, those might become my favorite ones. But just overall singles game sort of thing, I had to choose this one because it was my first introduction amongst the entire world's first introduction to this band, and it definitely popped off. It definitely gave them the popularity, and it's well deserved, I would say. But like I said, President is going to be one of the bands the next couple years to be talking about. So hopefully we get some more of them in the near future. And moving on to number 4, ladies and gentlemen, we have Star Set. I completely forgot about probably over 10 years ago at this point, because I used to listen to them. I used to listen to one of their albums from back in the day, and I just fell in love with these guys, with their overall playstyle, their spacey-esque atmospheric vibe that they brought, with their cleans, with the hard-hitting, metalcore riffs that they were doing, and the breakdowns as well. But when they came out with this one, I forgot how good they were, man. When I first heard this one, I was like, where's these guys been? Why haven't I gone back to these guys? Because they were just so amazing when I first listened to them, and they're still amazing now, man. And this one definitely surprised me. They got me into them yet again, like I said, but they did some stuff that I'd never really heard from them before. They were doing these deep guttural kind of haunting kind of screams that I never really heard them do before, like guttural slow talking vocals that I never heard these guys do before. Like almost brought chills to me listening to it, which I very like from these guys, man. Right from the beginning they have that gent style groovy kind of riff, down-tune riff that these guys, I don't think they've done that before. I don't know, like I said, they've come out with a lot of albums since then. They come out with a lot of singles since then, so maybe that's their style now. Maybe that's their, they've always done that and I just forgot about it. But just the overall gentiness, the grooviness of the tone, which I love that kind of play style. It just makes you get into the song even more. It just makes you want to move. It just makes you want to, just feel the rhythm, feel the vibe that the song is going for, but also has that, hard-hitting undertone to it. The guy still has his vocals, don't get me wrong, from what I remember. He still has those catchy verses, still has those catchy choruses that he can do, very sing-along worthy, which I love. Which I sing to this one as well, man. It's very catchy not to listen to this one. But I love their synths in this one. I love their electronic style that they do. The synth pattern is very catchy. Listening to it in the background as well, it just amplifies the rhythm, amplifies the chorus and the verses, especially on the second verse. It kind of have a little bit of background singer solo in there, which is very interesting to see. But yeah, man, just overall grooviness, overall intense action that these guys can bring. It's it's very little bit of pop influence in there as well, but that's what they've always been known for. They've always been known for kind of that genty kind of poppy grooviness that they've had in the past. So if you guys have any more songs of these guys, be sure to let me know down in the comments as well, because like I said, it's been easily over a decade since I listened to these guys in the past. So I might have to go check out some of their past the albums and see if their stuff holds up to this one, because this one definitely I think they came out with a new album also this year. I don't know, I'm gonna have to check on that. So these guys are definitely gonna be on my radar to go back and check out some of this stuff over the next year. So it's definitely going to be a surprise. Hopefully we get some more new surprises that I haven't heard from these guys before. But like I said, Star Set, I'm coming for you guys yet again, boys, because I loved you guys from back in the day. And I'm going to check out what I've been missing, and check out what you guys have been hiding from me over the past decade or so. So yeah, we're going to check out that. So stay tuned for that in the near future. But moving on here to number 3, ladies and gentlemen. This list wouldn't be complete without an As I Lay Dying track on it, and I'm super hyped, super excited that they are back. Guys have been on a crazy roller coaster over the past year or so, man, because As I Lay Dying came back with a new album, I believe in 2024. They released one, but then everyone just all of a sudden left the band. They got new members in. They got the guy from Miss May I doing the covering for the cleans on the vocals of the track in that whole album, but I thought they were coming back swinging, man. I thought they were coming back in here to stay, but they ended up falling apart and breaking up again. And then after hearing that, I thought that was truly the end of As I Lay Dying. I thought Tim was actually going to hang up the hat. He was going to, hang up the mic and say, I'm finally done. I'm not trying anymore. But, this just shows the dedication of a true metal vocalist. This definitely shows the true dedication of a performer. He's trying to still push the band. He's trying to still push that label. He's trying to still push that, what makes As I Lay Dying, not die. Because they're still kicking, they're still alive, they're still making music, man. And I love this new lineup that they got. I don't know where these guys came from, but whoever the new clean singer is, he just sounds so good. I just love his raspiness of his cleans. I love the way his vocal style plays with the riffs and plays with the play style that this guy. I feel like it works. It's definitely an upgrade. It's definitely a step up. Because I really didn't think the Miss Man vocalist kind of fit. I think they were just kind of, just maybe looked at what guy kind of sounded similar to what they did from back in the day and just kind of picked him. So I just felt like it didn't really fit too much, but I'm super glad that they changed it and put this guy in here as well, because he's just so amazing. But Tim still doing his thing, still screaming his heart out, still growling his heart out with those high screams. But this one is definitely heavy. It's definitely fast paced. It definitely has that heavy melodic metalcore aspect that I've been known for decades at this point. But it has a modern twist. It has that modern sound to it, but still yet has that, classic metalcore, under backbone end to it. 'Cause these guys were always known for their chaos. They was always known for their intensity of their tracks, man. Because right from the start, you're just getting hit with the blast beats on this first and second verse, man. Just non-stop energy, non-stop screaming from Tim, and just overall melodic metalcore playing in the background as well. And just when the chorus hit, man, it definitely reeled me back into why I love these guys and what made me want to play like these guys, because it's just, I love the heaviness mixed with the cleans, mixed with the, just the contrast between these guys. And just what made me love metalcore from back in the day is starting to learn all these bands and, I learned this sort of genre as a whole, man. And I just gravitated toward these guys a lot just because I love their guitar play style. I love that sort of guitar. I love that sort of songwriting. I love the heaviness mixed with the cleans, and just makes me stay a fan of these guys, to this day, because hopefully they'll keep going for a couple more decades or so with this new lineup. Hopefully Tim doesn't screw it up yet again, or hopefully something doesn't, screw it up in the behind the scenes. But, fingers crossed, I'm holding on for you, buddy. I'm hoping for you. After all these hardships, after all these years of all this chaos of what's been going on with this band, just, Tim, hold on to these guys. Hold on to these guys and never let them go. Don't let them go away, because I like this new lineup. I love this new sound that they're doing, and I just hopefully we get a new album in the near future, because we already got 2 singles already from these guys. Even though Tim released that album with the past lineup last year, it's just definitely a crazy turnaround to see that he's already starting to make new music with these new guys. So I guess he has a lot of time on his hands. I don't know what he's been doing in his free time. I guess writing a lot of music, just trying to get this band put together, and just hopefully these guys stick together. But just all these crazy riffs and all these crazy breakdowns aside, man, their solos are probably one of the best in the game, and this one alone definitely rivals some of their past tracks, man, because it just sounds so good. It's just so clean, it's just so melodic, man. It's just so catchy to listen to, because like I said, a lot of metalcore bands don't really do solos nowadays too much, but when it comes to an As I Lay Dying solo, man, it just makes you want to learn it. It just makes you want to grab a guitar and learn how to play it, because it's just so melodic, it's so catchy. It just harmonizes so well. So if you guys haven't heard this one yet, be sure to go check it out. As I Lay Dying, Echoes, probably one of the catchiest ones yet thus far, at least in my opinion. So go check them out, and fingers crossed we get some more in the near future from these guys. But moving on to number 2, we have the Amity Affliction, All That I Remember. Easily one of my favorite ones. from these guys. Sadly to say, Aaron's not in it. They made this one after he left the band, and they brought the new guy in. I forgot his name. I forgot his name. I don't know where he came from. I don't know if he came from another band that they brought him in from. But not gonna lie, I mean, it does work. His clean singing voice can get to the higher ranges that they probably wanted to get to, that Aaron can't really do nowadays, I feel like. So they brought this guy in just to get into those higher ranges that Aaron used to probably do from back in the day. You know, but maybe that's why they kind of, you know, shifted away towards Aaron. I don't know, it is a sad way to see it, but you know, Aaron would always be the backbone of this band, don't get me wrong, but you know, the band definitely would not be the same without him. But you know, Joel, he's doing his thing, doing those guttural screams that he can normally do, doing those high screams. Ever since that last album, Not Without My Ghost, easily my favorite album from these guys, because they're just going into that hardcore route, they're going into that down-tuned, doomy route, that hardcore metalcore style that I've been wanting them to do for years and years and years now. They did some weird experimental, you know, poppy stuff in their past albums before then, and it just wasn't my vibe, wasn't my thing, and I'm glad that they scrapped that and gravitated to more of the heavy style, heavy beaten metalcore that what's made these guys popular in the first place, man. And it just seems like they're going heavier, man, because from All My Friends Are Dead to I See Dead People, probably one of the heaviest songs that I've ever heard from these guys, easily one of the heaviest ones they've ever created. But when I heard that one, I knew I was in. I knew I was in for a ride that I wasn't prepared for, and just the amount of heaviness in that track is just ridiculous, man. The Amity Affliction is going deathcore, and I love it. I love it. Well, maybe not this one, but you know what I'm saying. They're going heavier. They're doing that hardcore, heavy metalcore tuning. One, it's definitely catchy, nonetheless. You know, it is heavy. It is on the down-tuned, muddy end of the, you know, deep tones, but it's still catchy when, especially when the chorus comes around, man, because it just makes me want to sing it every time I hear this song, you know, since it came out. So I love, definitely, it's easily one of my favorite ones to, you know, jam out to when I want something heavy, but also want to sing along to, you know, just to get myself, you know, amped up in the mood to, you know, start making music. You know, I love this song, man. I love this song. Hopefully new album comes out in the near future, or they're working on some stuff for next year's, you know, announcement or release. But if each song sounds kind of similar to this sort of vein, this sort of style, you know, similar to their past album, you know, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. But like I said, sad to say that Aaron's not in the band anymore. Hopefully we get some more update on, you know, what he's doing, because he said he was going to make some new music. He said he was going to, after he left the band, he was working on some of his own stuff. So, you know, I don't know if it's a similar style, you know, similar kind of like metalcore style kind of stuff. I don't know if he's working with other people to create a new band, or if he's just doing some like solo stuff. I don't know, but I'm intrigued. I'm eager to see, you know, what Aaron's been working on, and, you know, if he's, you know, going to keep up with being a singer, if he's going to keep up with making music. But who knows, he could change his mind and just, you know, do something else. But hopefully we get to see some more of Aaron. But like I said, Amity Affliction, top 5 band for me. Love these guys no matter what. Seen them multiple times, and they just always put on a hell of a show. Their songs are always catchy. They're just so fun to listen to, and it just brings me back to, you know, the old school days when I first listened. It just brings me back to old school, modern. And just those old albums still hold up, man. Just the nostalgic factor of old school metalcore is still there, but they also have their new age, the new modern genre with this heavy stuff, which also I love as well. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully we get some more Amity Affliction in the near future, ladies and gentlemen. And for my number 1 pick of the year, top 2025 metal single, we have Woe Is Me, Here's to Me, A Story to Tell, Part 2. Part 2, ladies and gentlemen. Easily my favorite reaction. Easily my favorite band coming back. Easily my favorite band, at least this year, man. Because these guys have been nuts over the past year or so. They have been dropping non-stop heaters over the past year or so, man. And then they dropped a new album on top of that, man. Boys, you're gonna kill me. I'm already in love. You guys, I'm already probably one of your number 1 fan from these guys, because I just love each song, because each song is just so heavy, it's so intense, but also has the clean style vocals in there, still has the clean poppy style vocals. Man, these guys do it so good. I don't know a band that could do it better than what these guys can do. They blend the genres so well. If pop punk was a band, these guys would definitely be the front page for it, because they mold the heaviness in poppy so well. Like, it's just crazy. You think that would not work, but they managed to do it somehow, and each song just sounds so good, so crazy. Each song, it just feels like it tops the other. It's like they just seem to go heavier and heavier in each song that comes out from these guys. It's insane. Like I said, from back in the day, I know they used to be popular from early 2000s. They had their complications. They had a lot of split ups, you know, amongst other bands at the time from back in the days, you know, to go spin off to other projects, you know, to do others, you know, bands to form and create other bands and stuff like that. But I love, after all those years, after all these switch ups, after all these, you know, years of silence, they're coming back harder and swinging better than ever, man. And probably some of the best metal music I've ever heard in my time, man, because it's just, I love these guys. Like, what can I say? I'm glazing these guys so much, you know, just right from the start. It has the groovy, genty drop tune riffs that just playing nonstop, man. It's just so jumpy, it's so energetic, you know, mixed overlaying with this growls, with the screams on top of that stuff, and just out of nowhere they can just flip it into a 180, into a breakdown, putting the hardest hitting breakdown you've ever heard from a metalcore band. But then when that chorus comes around, when that clean comes around from my boy here, it just sounds so clean, it sounds so good, yet you just can't help but melt. You can't help but fall in love with this guy's voice, fall in love with this band. From their vocals, from the songwriting, to the lyrics, man, from the way they transition from heavy to clean, man, it's just so good. It's just so good, man. All I can say is that I'm excited that they're back after so long, because they were one of my favorite ones to listen to when it came to that heaviness, when I wanted that heaviness, when I just wanted something stupid, when I wanted just something stupid to listen to from back in the day, man. They were always that heavy hitting band. They were always pushing the boundaries of what made a metalcore band heavy. I felt like, you know, each song, each album, just, you know, they pushed the boundaries, especially on this one, man, because these guys are definitely teetering the deathcore line here a little bit on some of these breakdowns, man, because let me just say, from the tones, from how low they go, it just sounds so crisp, it's so tight, it's so choppy, you know, just from how deep it is, it just sounds so good to listen to. Because if you're a fan of heavy hitting breakdowns, if you listen to metal for the breakdowns, listen to Woe Is Me, because they definitely write some of the best breakdowns in the game as well. Amongst, you know, Breakdown of Sanity, it's just the whole song is a breakdown. They're on a whole nother level of insanity, let me just say. But when you want some like good old fashioned hardcore hitting metalcore mixed with the clean singing, Woe Is Me is your band. Because like I've heard this song so many times since then. Like every time I get into the car, I put this song on, I listen to the song, I sing this song out, because it's just that good, man. It's just that good of a track that no matter how many times you listen to it, it's always gonna be good every single time. You're never gonna get tired of it, at least for me, because it's usually when I listen to a song, you know, a lot, I would get tired of it. But all these songs here I've talked about so far, man, I haven't gotten tired of at all, man. Each song on this list is catchy, it's intense, it's just, yeah, no matter how many times I listen to it, I'm always gonna love it, man. So like I said, man, Woe Is Me, I'm super excited that they're back. And I wouldn't even say that this is their hardest hitting one, man, because they've had some harder hitting tracks and a lot more, you know, a lot more screams, a lot of harder hitting tones, but the breakdown in this one specifically smacks. It hits hard, it's short and crispy, but you know, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's heavy enough to go like, holy shit, what is going on? And then they just go right back into the clean singing, man. They go right back into the fairy tale-esque singing that they normally do, man. It's just crazy. This year has been insane in general for metal releases as a whole, but I feel like over the past year, these guys as a band, as a whole band, has just been nuts to see, man, and I just love it no matter what, ladies and gentlemen. So that has been my top 10 metal singles releases, at least my favorite ones that have came out over the past year or so. So yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think of this list. If there's other ones that I may have missed, or some ones that you might not agree, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it down in the comments, and let me know of some of your own tier lists. You can make some of your own top 10 tier lists from at least this year, and maybe I've listened to those ones as well, but they didn't maybe make the cut. But Like I said, man, we heard a lot of music this year. We heard a lot of singles. We've heard a lot of albums. So it's very hard for me to, pinpoint, into at least into a list. I can't really do that normally because I just love so many songs. I love so many bands. But this year was definitely insane. But with this list specifically, I felt like were my favorites that I listened to constantly and listen to still to from, reacting to them. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, 2026 is already shaping up to be, another heavy hitting banger metal season as well. As we already got a lot of, predictions. We already got some announcements that are coming out, and that's just why I love this kind of music, man. This is why I love these kind of bands. Just you never know what's gonna happen. You never know what crazy insanity that's gonna be created on the next single or the next album rather from some of your favorite bands. And that's just what gets me excited. That's what gets me want to share, my reactions and share, some of my own, thoughts and opinions on these albums, because I just love music, man. I love metal music, man. I love, listening to it with you guys and, sharing it with you guys. Because before, I typically, just when I found a new band, I would just typically, just listening to myself or just watch other people react to it. But, I wanted to do it myself, man, because instead of, just sitting here, keeping my, excitement to myself, I wanted to share it with you guys. So if you guys have stick to the end of this video, I appreciate it. And I love seeing all you guys' comments on my videos. I love seeing sharing your thoughts and opinions on news tracks and songs that come out as well, and giving me more recommendations for other new tracks and other songs that I may not have gone on my way to listen for on my own time or before this channel rather. So I do appreciate you guys and thank you guys for that as well. So we're just getting started here, ladies and gentlemen. Next year is already going to be shaping up to be somewhat pretty much excited. I got some new announcements coming up for my own personal, library that I maybe been working on over the past couple months here or so, which is why I haven't really, done so many reactions over the fall season. But, a lot of stuff has been going on. So you guys have to stay tuned for that as well. Maybe stick to some more new original music coming your way pretty soon here. Yeah, so be sure to stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen. Next year is going to be insane, so be sure to stay on this channel. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, especially new here, because going through every single band on the channel in general. You don't want to miss out on a single one. Guarantee that. And I'll see you guys in the next one.